fields is the SDG Sustainability is everywhere in the world, I think, one of the hot topics these days, and the Agenda 2030. So we are working at the moment at the sustainability concept within the DoD, and what we are aiming for is to promote access to inclusive, equitable, and high-quality education for all people through scholarships, collaborative projects, and capacity development. And you will see this in a minute in the SDG Partnership program, because you will see teaching, research, but also academic cooperation. Yeah, couple of words on what we are doing in the region of South Asia. We are offering scholarships and grants for all disciplines at all stages. I want to mention that the scholarship programs are open now. We opened up the portal last week, so applications are possible. And last year we funded in the region more than 2,000 scholars. Oh, not last year in 2019, but the numbers were the same in 2020. And we also funding at the moment as DoD in the region more than 97 cooperation projects. And I've seen in the participants list a couple of our institutions we are funding and a couple of our PIs. So warm greeting also to those who are attending the day sessions and deeping a bit into this new funding scheme. We are running 7 offices, 1 in Delhi, and want also to mention our offices in Dhaka and in Colombo. We are also running an office in Pune, Mumbai, Chennai, and in Bangalore. So if you would like to have a bit of a more one-to-one consultation, if Delhi is too far, you can always reach out to our colleagues in the regional office, and we are also running the German Center for Research and Innovation. Yeah, I think that in a nutshell is what we are doing as DoD in worldwide and in the region of South Asia. And now over to you, Shika, for DoD project funding, and then for a first insight into the new SDG Partnership program.
Thank you, Katya. Before I begin, actually, I just got a message that one can't see chat to everyone. Is it something I can't see, or the... Can you just check, Katya? Because someone just said they cannot type in the chat for all. No option for everyone.
I cross-check that, yeah?
All right. Okay, then I go ahead. Thank you. So, as Katya just mentioned, the DoD supports international partnership through a number of schemes that aim to foster cooperation among higher education institutions between Germany and other countries. There are about almost 500 Indo-German cooperations presently, which are running, and more than 500 or so university cooperation established between Germany and the other countries in South Asia region. So through these projects, DoD what actually are promoting is the international students' mobility across the globe. More and more international collaborations contributing in the internationalization strategy of German and the universities abroad. These projects also contribute in developing international study programs as per the current state of scientific knowledge and market requirement, and thus contribute to the sustainable development and transnational education across the globe. So this is what about the programs in general. One second. To the next slide. So this is the DoD link to the list of all the funding cooperation programs and schemes. You can just go to this link. We'll share the presentation with all of you later, so you can just check it out. So this will list all the schemes which are funded by DoD for different projects. So just to mention, DoD receives funds from various German ministries, including the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development. And there are a number of DoD funded schemes that are financed by this ministry, like the projects which are subject related partnerships, for example, projects in the field of health, biodiversity, capacity building in the university management, fact-finding missions for German universities, etc. So there are a number of these projects which are funded by the by this ministry. Mm. So from out of these financed schemes, which are financed by this ministry, BMZ in German, as in abbreviation you call it, these 4 DAD funded programs, namely subject related partnerships, DS partnerships for the university management, and the programs in the field of health sector and biodiversity. These 4 programs, individual programs, have been merged now, resulting into the newly launched program SDG Partnership, and which focuses mainly on sustainability, sustainable development goal as per the SDG 2030 agenda. So these 4 programs are not there anymore, but under one umbrella now it's called SDG Partnership. So this program, as we just mentioned, it aims to implement and develop the partnerships between the German universities and universities in developing nation and emerging nations. Thus sustaining, thus they help in sustainable strengthening of the university structures in the partner countries. So how are these objectives of this program are achieved? There are mainly 3 field of actions through which the aims can be met. One, teaching. Of course, under that one can go for developing teaching and learning structures at the partner institutions, develop up-to-date study programs, curriculum, capacity development, developing new degree programs, study and teaching modules. Thus, overall, it will improve the teaching and learning methodologies so that the students from partner institutions are well qualified and trained, and then they can take up professional careers in the partner countries as well as in the home countries. Project may also tap into the digital possibilities. The partner universities thus get the opportunity to kind of integrate virtual collaboration formats into the courses and the curriculum. Next field of action is the university management, the capacity development of the management of a university. So, see, as we know, to run a successful project and a sustainable partnership between the universities, establishment of an efficient and cosmopolitan universities in the partner countries are also very, very important. So capacity development of the university management and the administrators working in those in the international offices, for example, of the universities is another important field of action under this program. And thirdly, research, implementing project relevant research, state of art research and training for the scientists and young researchers. The research topics, of course, should be related to SDGs and other global challenges. And another very interesting aspect of this program is that one can include or involve other non-university partners in the project, like industries, relevant NGOs, government, non-government entities, etc. So these are basically the 3 line of the fields of action for the program. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah. So this program has basically 2 funding lines as per the disciplines. So one is open to all the subject areas clearly which are related to SDGs. Interdisciplinary subjects are also welcome, of course, under this. And the second line of funding is the subjects which are related to health and medicine, and the sustainable development goals number 3, 13, 14 and 15, which are actually good health and well-being, climate, and life underwater and life on land. Yeah, these are the 4 goals. And this line of funding also includes projects which are related to environmental and social sciences, biodiversity, and other related areas. Of course, the field of action, what we talked about, that remained same for both the lines of fundings. It's only about the disciplines. So what is the total funding under this program? The total funding amount for the bilateral projects under this program is 300,000 euros for 4 years, up to 300,000 actually. It can be less also, but not more than that. in case of bilateral collaborations. And this 300,000, which will be splitted into 4 budget years for euro 75,000 each year. And for the multilateral partnerships, that is where more than 2 partner countries are involved, the possible funding can be up to 400,000 for 4 years. So what can be funded? Actually, all the costs which are important and necessary for the project implementation are eligible for this under this program, which includes the personal costs in Germany and abroad. For example, the salaries for the research associates, students, assistants, project coordinators, that can be funded under this program. But of course, this personal cost should not be more than 30% of the total funds which you get. Then the travel and stays for students, researchers, faculty, university staff, alumni in Germany and the partner countries. So that is funded under the program. One can organize workshops, seminars, conferences and other events which are related to the project. And up to 500 euros can also be funded for buying an equipment. Then of course, developing the digital teaching and learning, which is important, very important in today's time, that can be funded. So one can develop digital teaching and learning material, modules, technical infrastructures can also be funded. Then PR related activities like printing, publications, advertisement material, they can also be funded. And the measures for networking development, like founding an association, for example, an alumni association or a registered clubs, that can be funded. Of course, keeping the current, as I just said, keeping the current world situation in mind, the digital implementation of the project measures are very, very much encouraged. Now, what cannot be funded under this program is equally important to know. So as you know, DAD mainly funds the mobility through various schemes. Projects which are focusing purely on research aspects cannot be funded. So the activities which are already funded through other organizations or other funding organizations or sources can also not be funded. If your project, for example, some measures are funded by another funding organization like DFG or GIZ, that cannot be funded. Exploratory visit or excursions cannot be funded. For such activities, of course, there are other DAD schemes in place which one can look into, like the fact-finding mission for Germany for German faculty to visit abroad, or student group visit. We'll briefly touch upon these programs actually in the next slides. So one can check other programs for such activities. Then make sure that the funding amount one is applying for should not be less than 10,000 euros per year. So that should be the minimum per year one needs to apply for. And long-term stays cannot be funded. By long-term, I mean which are at a stretch which are more than 5 months stays, that cannot be funded under this program. Only short-term stays. So now I think next few slides will brief about the application procedure and very important aspect, that is monitoring and evaluation of your project, which is an essential part of this program and other DAD project funded schemes also, and for which I again would like to request Katya to present, please.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Chika. We're getting in a lot of questions regarding individual scholarships. We will not answer these questions. I would like to direct you to our sessions we are running regularly on PhD and on bachelor master programs in Germany. But maybe Chika will take up the questions so far here because they related to the slides. So there was a question about the short-term stay. I think Ms. Steinhaus, we answered that. So all stays above 6 months cannot be funded as there are individual schemes in place. And then there is a question from Manoj Thomas to apply for all research projects. Is it mandatory to have a partner institution from Germany? I think we forgot that to mention that. That's important. Maybe Shika, you could
It is.
answer that.
Yeah, of course. So for all the cooperation program, you have to have a partner. So actually, as a first step is to identify the partner who is interested in your project in the relevant field you want to take up the project. So yes, partner is the most important. Only then you can go for these funding schemes. Yeah.
And actually, in this specific funding scheme, it's the German partner who applies for funding to DID. So all the money is routed through the German partner institution.
That's true.
And then there was a question, maybe just go back one slide. What is DFG, BMZ, GIZ? Sorry, these are the German abbreviations. DFG is standing for the German Research Foundation. BMZ is the Ministry of Economic Development, and GIZ is the agency doing the development work in India. So these are German, out of German funding agencies, or like the DART, who are mentioned here, and sorry, that's our bad that we put up the
You're
German
so much used to
abbreviations.
that. We
Yes.
just took it for granted. People would know.
Yeah, and then there was a question regarding if molecular biology and biotechnology can be considered under the health sector from Soham Chakraborty. Yes, it could be, would depend a bit on the project. Biotechnology, I would say yes. For molecular biology, one has to see if it's applied, then it could go in the health sector. If it's basic research, then I would suggest to apply under funding line A. Okay, then I think we take it forward, and then maybe the next couple of questions then also in the next round. So the application procedure. So we currently opened the call. I think deadline is mid of September, if I'm not completely
17th
mistaken.
of September, sorry.
And as mentioned, important to know is, of course, the German institution needs a partner. That's why we're running this session. But at the end of the day, the German institution will upload the proposal. So it's the German institution who will apply, and if funding is successful, then all the money will be routed through the German institution. Then there is going to take place a formal review. So if everything is set in place, if all documents are there, if the eligibility criteria are matched. Want to mention, and it was mentioned, that this program is open for the Southern Hemisphere developing countries. All countries in the region which we are responsible for as DART in South Asia are eligible for application. Also Bhutan, Nepal, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka, and of course India. And then DID always runs the selection of projects through a selection committee formed by German professors. And then there is done a scientific evaluation of the project, and this takes place, and then we're gonna have the decision on funding. It's an open competition. We don't distribute in regions. There is not foreseen a specific number of funding or of a specific amount of funding for India or so on. So we look basically in the quality of the projects, and there is no regional distribution number behind. And then we would communicate the head office the results, and then normally the contracts are done really fast, and then the funding would start. Now, in designing a project, and a couple of evaluation criteria. So formal criteria, you have to match them. What would look the Commission at is what we give them as a guideline, is that the relevance of the project to the development policy of the German government. So how does the project contribute to the achievement of the SDGs? And there should be also taken consideration of the principles of development cooperation, which are there in place. In general, the Commission will also look up onto not just the scientific output, which is going to be developed, also the contribution towards the development of the partner institution is important. So how this project will contribute to to the capacity development of the partner institution or partner institutions in the Southern Hemisphere. Scientific relevance and quality of the project, I already mentioned, it's of course important. And then it's always important that there is a balanced cooperation activity. So our goal as DID is to foster cooperation worldwide, and there is always the question of outgoing and income, so balanced activities. Not all the activities should take place in India, for instance, or all the funding should go into sending Indian students to Germany. So there should be a balanced balanced activities taking place in Germany and India, and also in the mobility there should be a bit of a balance. And then of course, as this is a SDG Partnership program, we would look also into matters of sustainability. And Shika mentioned that digital activity is encouraged. We as DAD run at the moment a discussion about flights, what is sustainable, what is not sustainable. One is a short-term stay useful, what can be digital. And I think the last couple of months, all of us have evolved. So that's why the digital component is really encouraged in the program projects, also a matter of sustainability and this CO2 footprint to mention. Yeah, I would also like to mention that all the programs of the DAD are now under running results-based framework and results-based oriented monitoring. And that's really important to understand. We will not go into detail, I'll just give you a glimpse here how to design a project. So the DAD has a structure in place where he looks on the activities, on the outputs, outcomes, and impacts. The impacts of the program are formulated already, and we share an English language document a bit later. And each DAD project now has to build up, and in the application, one has to show this based on activity, based on the output, the outcome, and the desired impact. So that's really important when you design the project, that you have this in mind. So it's not just about activities sending students. We would also have a look, what is your expected outcome of sending students abroad, and how would you measure this? That's why you have in these projects always to put indicators. So an indicator, for instance, would be number of mobilities of postgraduate students. This would be the indicator, and then you already have to put in the proposal of the project also the values and the numbers behind the indicator. So I want to achieve in the project 20 mobilities of Indian students, postgraduate students to Germany, and I want to move 5 postgraduate students from Germany to India. And this has to be done for everything, also for PR work. I mean, in the mobility, that's quite easy to describe. So as I mentioned, we are looking into input. The input is the DAD funding, for instance. Then the activities, this would be the activity you already are doing, publishing a brochure, for instance, or facilitating a mobility, or running a workshop, a conference. Then you would need to describe the output of that activity. So what would
Katya,
be a scope?
sorry, your slide is not moving. Sorry to interrupt. I also see the very first slide. In case you move further, it's still that evaluation process. I have given
give me the presenter, right?
Yeah.
No, it should have been moved, no?
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the output would be what is the immediate result of the conference. Networks have been established, for instance, and then what the outcome is the next step, and then the impact. What one tends to do in projects is that one says, oh, I want to publish something, I want to do a workshop. So one thinks immediately about the activities. We would strongly encourage when you start to plan the project that you look at the impacts which are given in the description, and then go from the planning goes from this is the impact, which outcome I want to achieve, what is my midterm output I want to have, and then you define the activities which you can reach that goal. So that's a bit of a new thinking from the goals, going down to the activities, and then of course the implementation goes exactly the other way around. Starting from the input, running the activities, and then put the impact. And in DAD projects, as I mentioned, one already has to indicate that in the project's application, and also put the indicators and the numbers behind. And here's just an example to make it a bit more visual for you. So just a thought, one could discuss 4 hours about this results-based monitoring framework, but this is the new thinking we have in the project in place since a couple of years, and which is an every DAD project, so you should have that in mind. And once you see the application files, you see also a document where exactly one has to fill it up following that structure. Yeah, Shika, then I would leave it to here and over to you. And then maybe after this slide, we could take a couple of questions.
All right. Thank you, Katya. So Right. So as I mentioned before, there are other DAD schemes which can be looked into for different purposes. So for example, to initiate a collaboration and discuss your project, one can look into the scheme which is called DAD Fact-Finding Mission. This is for the German universities, where a group of representatives from German universities can visit universities abroad to get an idea about the universities, about the faculty, looking for partners, kind of research happening, the labs in that university, etc. And of course, to discuss a possible collaboration with the partners. So this is a program you can check under the funding scheme list. Uh, Likewise, there's another program called the study or the group visit of students from abroad to German universities. I have a slide for this program which I will just show you in a minute. Uh, Later, I think I have, yeah. And then there are other short-term research stay individual scholarship programs under which one can visit a German institution for up to 3 months for research and also to discuss bigger possible projects and cooperations. There are also many cooperation-based funding programs like, of course, this one, SDG Partnership program. Then there are double degree or joint degree programs funded by DAD, project-related personal exchange programs. Also about that, I'll come to that in a minute. Then there are larger projects which are funded by DAD like Exceed, Higher Education Excellence in Development Cooperation, it's called, which supports the development of competence centers and networks by German higher education institutions with multiple partner institutions in developing countries. Then another large project program is IGP Indo-German Partnership Program, which is currently running. The call is closed right now. It might be open in next couple of years. And this program supports the cooperation between the higher education institutions in India and Germany at the institutional level. Then a step further, establishing global centers funded by DAD. Like the two centers here I would like to mention are the IGCS, the Indo-German Center for Sustainability at IIT Madras, funded by DAD, and recently established another center called Global Water and Climate Adaptation Center with partners in Aachen, Germany, Bangkok, Chennai, and Dresden. Also called ABCT Center, which has recently been launched, also funded by DAD. So these are some very, very big, large projects funded by DAD. Okay. Should we take up few questions before? Okay, before
Yes,
that,
so maybe
yeah,
before
yes,
that, so we linked here, there was a question regarding the documents. The documents are up in German, as the logic behind is the German institution applies, but so there's a couple of formulas up, so we linked it here, we will share the presentation, and the DAD also provides for potential partners the funding framework where you could read about impacts and then what can and the eligible expenditure. These documents are available in English and are linked in the document. So once you get tomorrow the presentation, you can directly link them. Yeah, I think we have a lot of questions coming on. One is regarding the partner institutions. Maybe I take that up. So there was a couple of questions. It's just a German university who can be the lead in the institution. The DAD is the Association of German Universities. That's why it's just German higher education institutions who can apply in this program. This relates to private universities, to public universities, to universities of applied sciences, and full universities. Unfortunately, research centers or non-university research facilities like Leibniz or the Max Planck Society, they are not eligible for application as they have their own funding mechanisms. I think that would be one question which has been raised by a couple of participants. And Shika, where to look for an institution, where to find a partner for such a program. So if I'm an Indian institution, I have a wonderful idea, but maybe I'm lacking the partner. What should I do in that case? Should I go for that funding, or is there any other suggestion?
Yeah, so looking for the partners, as I said, is the most important first step. So there are a couple of very good websites actually which are available in our DAD website, like Research in Germany, where you can see the list of all the research happening along with the German faculty who are associated with those research. Then there are a couple of actually different ways one can look for a partner. One can tap on your alumni which are present in your institution because they already have a collaboration with the German universities. So, to also them as they can always help you in getting the first contact in a certain subject areas. And looking into different journals and publications is another very good idea because of course it's your research, you might be going through a lot of research material, so check out those. And I think once you just find a partner, in case you have difficulties in getting the contacts and something, yeah, one can always approach us and we will try and see. But that initial step, because you are the experts in your area, to look for those partners, that is something you have to do.
Yeah, Chika, I think, and maybe we go one slide back. There is a question if a fresh partnership is possible under SDG program, or what should I do if I'm really new into it? Maybe you could answer that question.
Sorry, this slide? Are you talking about this
Yeah,
slide?
yes.
So what was the question once again?
If
Sorry.
there is a fresh partnership possible under the SDG program, or is this something for where I already have a contact? How would I do it?
So, if you already have a contact and a partner, you can just approach them and just see, like, you can identify the area where you want to go for your research, or the project you want to develop a project under this program. The German side, if they're very new, they can apply for, as I mentioned, for a fact-finding mission, for example, if they want to come for an exploratory visit to your institution and discuss. Or you can also apply for an individual scholarship program, for example, a research stay for up to 3 months to Germany and discuss a possible collaboration under this program. Is that the question? Yeah.
Yes, so
Yeah.
I think
So
one
these
has, well, I mean, for
different
really
measures.
fresh projects, one could maybe start it with a study visit or fact-finding mission and then take it forward. This program is not designed to travel and to design the project, so you should have
Yeah.
already an idea. We're getting a lot of questions regarding the funding in, of course, that's always the case. So one question from Braunschweig, if the fees for scientific conferences can be applied for, yes, this could be under network development, the conferences for fee, but please take care, conference travel, just one has to take a look, have a look at the eligible criteria, but that might work under network development. And then we had a couple of questions, how is benefiting the Indian university if the German university is receiving all the money? Let me take the
Yeah,
first
sure.
part. The DAD is a German funding organization, and our responsibility is to support the German institutions in the internationalization. And then, of course, there is also benefit for the international partners. But our main scope is not to develop internationalization of Indian universities. This has to be done together with German institutions. But of course, I mean, the funding goes to the German university, but the German universities can then fund, for instance, stays for Indian researchers to Germany. Or there was a question if in this program there would be even the possibility to use the consumables funds and the non-consumable funds for buying small equipments for the partner abroad. So there is a benefit. But as mentioned, the money is rooted as we are a German organization, and then of course, and I think that would be the advantage, then also the German university is responsible for the correct accountancy of the project. But maybe Shika, you would like to add on this.
Yeah, no, you're right, Katya. So it's not that there are different measures, and of course the funding goes to those measures. It's just that the funds through a contract goes to the German universities, and they are the one who spend money on the activities which are jointly being planned. So it's not that the Indian side do not benefit from these funds. They do. It's just that they do not get the funds directly from DAD.
Yes, and there was
Yeah.
a question if is the share of the fund, what is the share of the fund that can be allocated to a non-German partner? There's no specific sum indicated or percentage, but as we mentioned, the project has to be balanced. And we are aware at this moment, of course, that transferring funds, money from India, from Germany to India might be a bit of a difficulty. So one has to cross-check that with the registrar at the Indian university or the university in your country, if it's possible to receive international funds. We are aware that there are difficulties at the moment, especially in India. And there was also a question if this can be a two German and two institutions projects. Yes, we're always looking into networks. That's true, and this would then go into multi cooperational projects, which would be then even provide a bit of more funding. These 400,000 euro, which you have just seen.
To add to this, it can be also two universities from different, like South region, from a different countries in South Asia. Like for example, one in India, one in Nepal, in Bangladesh, and also North-South. So these kind of collaborations are also possible under this program.
Yes, I think maybe we have we cleared most of the questions with regard to the projects, as mentioned. All these questions coming in regarding individual scholarships, please check our other sessions. And maybe last answer: no, Fraunhofer Institute is not a part of that. The DAD is the Association of German Universities and responsible for internationalization. So bit of AIU, but just responsible for internationalization. So Fraunhofer Institute is a separate organization with a lot of funding and is not part of the DAD. Chika, would you pick up maybe
so
as we are aware, we are not covering with SDG everything. You have the questions. Fraunhofer come up to that in a minute with PPP. Maybe you are at the beginning of a cooperation, so that's why, in brief, we wanted to introduce you a couple of programs which might cover your interests.
That's right, Katya. Especially these two programs which I'm just dwelling upon now. The first is, as I mentioned, the study visit. Under this program, a group of 10 to 15 students from India or the region can visit German universities, up to 2 to 3 universities for up to 2 weeks, 7 to 12 days. And the accompanying faculty is the applicant of this scheme, under this scheme. So there are 3 deadlines in a year. One has to apply at least 2 months before one wants to take up the travel. So 1st February, May and 1st of November are the deadlines, and the program is fully funded, the travel cost as well as the stay. So this is, as I mentioned, an initial, to initiate the collaboration, to discuss about for the future possible project, one can utilize this program. Then another program, this one I want to talk about, is the project-based personal exchange program. And this DAD India has we have 3 cooperation partners for this program. One program is together in cooperation with DST, Department of Science and Technology, in the field of science, engineering science and natural sciences. Then we have the similar program with University Grants Commission, UGC, in the field of humanities and social sciences. The call is right now on. The deadline is 31st August, and that was the idea for mentioning especially this program here, because you can look into the details and apply for this. There is still a month's time. And third partner we have is the National Science Foundation in Sri Lanka, also open to all the subject areas. Due to various reasons and pandemic situation, it was stopped for this year. Probably it will start again from next year. So currently, as I just mentioned, the call for UGC PPP is on with the deadline 31st August. And this program supports and funds the collaboration between the German and Indian research groups working jointly on a particular research project. And it funds the international mobility and stay within the research project. So how one has to apply, the Indian side has to look into the UGC website where all the details are given there and apply to UGC, and the German partner has to apply to DAD via online DAD portal. If you have more questions about this, you can always write to us, but in brief, yeah, this is about the program which is on right now. Good. So,
maybe we take up a couple of
few
more questions
questions,
before we head into the...
actually. True.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there is a question from Maximilian Rohling who asks to which percentage a non-university partner can be funded in SDG partnerships? So
Sorry.
maybe let me reply to this. The funding goes to the German university. If the German university manages to route the funding and one has to explain how one does it to and want to give a share to a non-university partner, that would be possible. But as I mentioned, there is the application is received by a German higher education institution who is responsible for all the accountancy, and of course you could distribute the funds then in the back end and then have to show this in the project proposal. But for us, the main partner would be the German university, SDAD, and the German partner university or the German university would be responsible for for using the funds in the foreseen way, and that it matches with the requirements of the German government and how one can utilize public German money. Shika, there's a question if Indonesian and Indian universities can collectively apply. What do we ask?
Sorry, just the question again, Katya.
Is it possible that an Indonesian and an Indian university can collectively apply to the program?
Yes, one can have a partner in Indonesia also. As I said, there can be a South-South collaborations. So there can be one university in Indonesia which would like to collaborate with a German, but of course there has to be a German university. It cannot be just an Indian and an Indonesian, but Indonesian, Indian and Germany, because funds ultimately goes to the German university. But yes, of course, you can have a partner institution from Indonesia as well.
There's a question if this webinar is just for institutions. Yes, that's right, as we also announced in the webinar. So if you're interested in individual scholarships for researchers, PhDs, and so on, please check our website. We have weekly webinars available for that case, and also individual consultation is available. That's why we are not touching these questions in this webinar. Shika, if an Indian institution already has a student mobility program or dual degree program with Germany, can it apply for the SDG funding?
Yes, why not? You can apply. There is no rule you cannot apply, but of course you have to make sure that the measures, I mean, it should not, it has to be a different project. Absolutely, it cannot be a similar project. It has to be different with different measures. So same measures cannot be funded from through different program lines. Yeah, so you can apply,
but if you do mobility without funding from the German government, you can apply, and then why
yeah,
not
of course.
have a look? But you have to match it with the SDGs goals. That's also to another question which I see here. There has to be a focus on SDGs. That's why it's called SDG Partnership program. And so there is a question: is there the option to do a project in intellectual property rights? If you match this to SDGs, as we mentioned, Pillar A is open also to humanities, social sciences, law, you can do so. You just have to connect it to how this project would on intellectual property would relate to the SDGs. Shika, are deemed to be universities in India can apply for these fundings in collaboration with a German partner?
Yes. So any university, be it deemed to be university or a private university, central universities, they are all open to apply.
Yes, as I mentioned, this is not a UGC funding. This is a German funding. So we would look in the German partner institutions. But if the German partner decides to even go with a private university in the region or deemed to be university or what all the models which are out there, this is possible. As I said, this is German government funding, and the criteria from the University Grants Commission or local criteria are not playing a role in that. Can we get a look into previous projects?
Previous projects under which program? Under this program?
Under SDG, yes.
SDG is the first time it is launched. As I just mentioned, it is a merging of 4 different project cooperation programs. And I think those, but you can get a list of some of them if you check into the DAD website, list of some previously funded projects. So you can definitely check on that.
Shika, let's go back to give me the presenter, right? Let's go back to slide 9, where we have these 4 programs.
Yeah.
So that's so as mentioned, this is a merger now and a bit of a readjustment,
Yeah.
but one can have a look in these programs which you find. There are a couple of examples
Yes.
Which could give you an idea. As I said, these 4 programs have been merged, reworked a bit, but this could be helpful to look, especially for health, would be the PAGEL projects, biodiversity, the biodiversity projects. If you would look into more on a general cooperation level, university management, SDG partnerships, and then there's the subject-related partnerships.
Yeah. So as we said, this is they're merged, but they're still available. If you just click on the list of where all the projects, all the programs are mentioned, these programs still are there. If you click on that, you will get into the details of the program. Of course, one cannot apply now if individually under these programs, as they are one now under SDG, but the other details and the previously funded projects list are given there.
And as mentioned, we will share the presentation latest tomorrow, that you can have a look, as the DAD net site is sometimes a bit difficult to navigate, as we have running more than 200 programs worldwide. I just go back to the end of the presentation. Our time is nearly up, so we said we would like to stay an hour here. There's a question. These SDGs are exactly the SDGs from the United Nations, so which are, you also know, which are used in all the countries worldwide, and which all the countries together try to achieve at the moment. To sort the global challenges which we have these days. So let me come, and this was a short insights into the program. So let me give a couple of hints what's upcoming from our side in the next months with further information for cooperation. As mentioned, the individual scholarship programs are open for application for the academic year 2022. There was the question again with the partner. Maybe a good idea is also to look for a research stay, apply to us, travel to Germany, get connected there. That could be an idea to use also these short-term scholarships which we have available, maybe to get a first contact for those who are joining us today, who don't already or will not are not having already a contact with Germany. Then we gonna run a DS workshop. Shika, would you say 2 words on the DS workshop and what we will do there, and as we open the call in October for that?
Sure. So DS workshop is something which we are running for last 4-5 years. A very successful project which DAD India does it every year for the university management. So it's basically in the sector of internationalization strategies, international offices, which is mandatory now for all the universities to have a international office. So for this year workshop, we want to focus on the internationalization at home and the international offices at a university. So what we do is we do a 1 or 2 days workshop. We invite experts from Germany as well as from India, and we do a lot of discussions, working groups, and things like that. So we will open the call. It is not open for all. We will have to have a call, and the interested universities or the people from international offices have to apply for it, and through a Lime survey. We will open it and we will announce it in our website sometime in October. And then we will take 1 person per institution, or maybe 2, those who are really interested in this. It's basically for the capacity building and things like that. And then we will have this workshop in the end of November. In 2 different on 2 different dates. So this is all about DS workshop, which is
I want to mention an upcoming event of the German Center for Research and Innovation in February next year. You were asking about finding a partner, finding information. We have a large event in February next year where we also will run a virtual fair with the supporter institutions, the opportunity to meet German universities which are present in India, but not just in India, the opportunity to meet funding agencies, and we will run a couple of discussions on science communication, on funding opportunities, and so on. So this is upcoming next year. But if you don't want to wait so long, I really would like to draw the attention to a upcoming larger exercise we're running at this moment. The DAD will run together with the Association of Indian University conference on the future of higher education and research cooperation connecting Germany and South Asia. At the moment, and we thought it would be nice if universities would contribute to this conference and not just be selecting the workshop participants and the presenters in the workshops. So we have running, and you might be aware because we distributed it, there is a call for submission or deadline, a call for proposals open for workshops where you could let us know what you would like to present on specific topics. Check it out, it's on the website of the DAD. The call closes next week already, but maybe if you have a wonderful idea what you could contribute, please let us know. We will select the most promising presentations and interesting topics, and together with the AIU, and we present them on the first day of the conference. The second day is a high-level meeting. We will talk about mobility, the future of mobility, keynotes, but also we will have a panel discussion where the DAD president will join, but also the Secretary General of the Association of Indian Universities. And I really would encourage you, have a look. We will open up the portal in September. The conference offers the unique possibility to run B2B meetings. Everybody can register. And when you register, you could have a look to other people who are on the platform, institutions, and then could request them for one-to-one meeting based on your interests and based on the interest of the institution. And I think a really unique opportunity to have really one-to-one meetings and maybe to touch base with institutions. Want to mention this is for at an institutional level, so to reach out, find new partners, see who's active in the region, see who in Germany who's dealing with India in the different fields, and a good opportunity to broaden your network or even to initiate first contacts. It's going to be a wonderful opportunity. You find all the information at this link, which is provided here. And as mentioned, the B2B platform is, we will open it up, Chicano, first week of September is the deadline. At the moment, we are waiting for the submissions for the call. But then starting with September, you have the opportunity to register and then request for one-to-one meetings during the days of the conference.
Yeah, someone asked about how to find a partner. This might also be a good opportunity. Such platforms, such meetings, you always find people of who are in your, interested in your research area, or the vice versa.
Good. I think we can close slowly, Chicano.
Yeah, if there are no other questions, we can.
I think we covered most of them. Then I would say this is the website for DAD India. We filtered information here. Want to mention that the DAD India website, you find also information for Bangladesh, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, and Nepal. It's just our structure. That's why it's called India, but you find the information also filtered for your countries. And then, then we just say thank you for your attention. Thanks to my colleagues in the back and for organizing the session. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to us. I think we'll repeat it pretty soon for other programs. Shika, maybe over to you for a couple of last words.
Yeah, so all we have to say is thank you very much. It has been a very overwhelming response. I still see a lot of attendees actually, and we did not expect so many. So we hope this was a fruitful session dedicated to one particular program, and as Katya mentioned, we will do it in future also, taking up one or two program, and as we said, there are more than like 200 project funded schemes, so taking one or two at a time might be a good idea. So we will do that again very soon. Thank you very much. And if still some questions are not answered, because there were so many, I couldn't even read all actually, even though we have taken most of them, you can write to us. You have our email IDs. You can write to us, and thank you. And have a wonderful
day. Care. Have a wonderful day, and thanks for your interest. And feel free to reach out to us if we did not manage to answer your questions. So have a nice day, and see you. Be it hopefully on site pretty soon. See you in this virtual environment. Have a nice day and take care.